When David Tennant came back, some fans that campaigned against the Whittaker era treated his return as some kind of victory. But does Russell have something up his sleeve? Is David Tennant's return some kind of meta commentary about us, the fans? So researching for today's video, I came across a brilliant article by Diane Darcy from CBR.com entitled, "David Tennant's Doctor Who return can only work as criticism of toxic fandom." Now this very much caught my eye. Indeed. The first part of the article talks a lot about the Jodie Whittaker era and basically what toxic fandom is within the Doctor Who community. It talks about how the general public and a large part of the Doctor Who community was very accepting of Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor and the Chibnall era, but there was a very, very loud vocal minority that were very against that era, as I'm sure you know. I'm sure you've heard such fun phrases as go woke, go broke, you know, Dr. Karen, all of that good stuff. I've never seen any of that on Twitter, nuh-uh. But thankfully I never really saw a lot of that on this channel. You know, we're pretty good on this channel, and if you want to subscribe, heck, now's your opportunity, and like the video as it does help the algorithm, thank you. But then we get to the meat, the juicy bit of this article. How Doctor Who can cleverly address toxic fandom. Let's give it a read, shall we? When Tennant was officially confirmed to be the 14th Doctor at the end of Doctor Who: The Power of the Doctor, the vocal fans that campaigned against Whittaker's tenure for years treated his return as a victory. This was the BBC admitting the Whittaker era was a failed experiment and brought Tennant back as a way of restoring fans' faith in the future of the show. Of course, Tennant himself has never expressed concern about the show's future and returned for the 60th anniversary specials due to his love of Doctor Who. He also came back to the franchise with the awareness that his return would be brief and that Gatwa is Whittaker's true successor. Absolutely, I have no doubt that David Tennant was very much aware that, hey, this is going to be a short stint. As I've said in multiple videos, you know, it was a very convenient thing because Ncuti Gatwa was busy at the time filming Sex Education and the Barbie movie. He's a big star. And David Tennant and Catherine Tate were like, we're free, let's make some magic. Thank you. Still, returning showrunner Russell T Davies can still capitalize on Tennant's popularity to address the problem of toxic fandom in Doctor Who as a part of celebrating the show's history and future. Since Doctor Who has always been about moving forward, not backward, Tennant's return as the 14th Doctor presents a perfect opportunity to establish why the show has never recast a previous actor for a new era. From what's been depicted in the 60th anniversary trailer, the 13th Doctor did not expect to regenerate into a previous incarnation. This causes the Doctor to experience something of an identity crisis, effectively confirming that something went wrong with their regeneration. Exactly what we have seen in the trailer. The Doctor's like, I don't know who I am. I don't know what's going on. And I think that's fair enough because, you know, for as far as the Doctor can remember, they've never regenerated into the same face before. You know, we had a hint of it that it might happen with the Curator, definitely. I feel like that laid the foundation that, oh, you know, the Doctor might revisit some old favorites, hey? And David Tennant is definitely an old favorite. But I really do hope and I really do think that the 60th core theme is going to be identity, and I'm very excited to see how that plays out. There's also the villain to consider. While the 60th anniversary trailer doesn't confirm who Neil Patrick Harris is playing, many of the clues strongly hint at him being the Celestial Toymaker. Not only does this particular villain have the ability to manipulate a person's perception of reality, but he also has a proclivity for puerile behavior and deadly games. Harris's mysterious character already embodies some of those traits in his brief appearance, which could easily be used to address why the Doctor regenerated back into a previous incarnation. There could even be some meta commentary on how this villain believes the 10th Doctor is the best incarnation, which could also explain why the universe is suddenly revolving around Donna again. I mean, the Celestial Toymaker definitely has something to do with it, right? Right? It has to be. It has to be. He's a trickster. Well, he's not the trickster, but you know what I mean. He's going to be the big bad. He's going to be pulling the strings in many a different way. And I'm excited to see Neil Patrick Harris as a villain in Doctor Who. I think that's beautiful. Well done, Russell. Thank you. But the Doctor having the same face again? Because of the Celestial Toymaker? Maybe. It's very likely. It's very, very likely.
And then I get a text from Russell Davies saying, so I'm doing this thing and I've written a thing and there's a part in it that you might like. I think it's delicious. Is it okay if I send it to you? And I said, well, of course, Russell. You're Russell T. Davies. Of course. And he sent it and I started reading it. And from the very, very first scene, I was like, oh, this is delicious.
Of course, it can't be ignored that the Doctor has grown a lot since his 10th incarnation, with the 13th Doctor embodying much of that growth. Since the 14th Doctor is newly regenerated from that incarnation, much of the 13th Doctor's experiences are still fresh in his memory. If the circumstances behind the unusual regeneration are addressed, this is where the Doctor's growth can be meaningfully dissected by admitting he's moved on from the person he was as the 10th Doctor. He could also solidify this point by acknowledging he must always evolve and never regress. This would also create a stronger transition to Gatwa's 15th Doctor. I cannot wait to see David Tennant's third regeneration play out. But I feel like this regeneration might be like the best send-off for getting ready for a new Doctor since maybe like Matt Smith to Capaldi, you know, when Matt Smith had that cameo at the end of Deep Breath, you know, that was a really big handover, and I feel like we might be doing something similar here. While there is no guarantee the 14th Doctor's regenerations will be handled in a way that comments on some vocal fans' unwillingness to accept change, not doing so would be a gravely missed opportunity. This is especially true since Tennant's return is coming at the heels of Whittaker's era, and already sets a bad precedent for how the BBC can artificially boost ratings if a particular era proves controversial. Still, this doesn't have to be the message. By explicitly reaffirming why Doctor Who must always embrace change in the 60th anniversary specials, this could go a long way to invalidate any toxic fan belief that a past era was a failure. Russell is an incredibly talented writer, absolutely. He's very good at character writing, but I hope that he does include, you know, a little hints of this meta commentary on the fan base, because I don't think we'll ever get a better opportunity to talk about, you know, the whole 10th Doctor era being one of the most popular and being back. I feel like this would be insane not to do something meta here. Whether they address it with the Celestial Toymaker, or even the Doctor being like, oh, you know, I never wanted to let go of this face. You know, a lot of people didn't either. Wink type thing, maybe not that direct, but you know what I'm saying. I really usually don't like talking about toxic fandom or anything like that, because, you know, it was rough during the Jodie Whittaker era. That received a lot of horrible comments said towards Jodie and Chibnall that were completely unjustified. And now that David Tennant's back, you know, I just made a video recently on how Russell's now getting hate and the episodes aren't even out yet. So, I mean, toxic fandom will always be there, but maybe, as Diane said, this can invalidate them like that. Well done, Diane. That was an excellent read. If you want to read the full article, it'll be in the description. But yeah, very good points brought up. But yeah, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the 60th is going to have any kind of meta commentary on us as the fandom? Let me know if you want it, if you don't want it, or if you're indifferent. But that's going to do. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Crispy Pro. Like and sub, and Allons-y.